All right. How's everybody doing tonight? Well, so I'm Steve from UpaDowna. UpaDowna is a local nonprofit that wants to get each and every individual outdoors. We host events, programs, all sorts of exciting things throughout Colorado Springs. 99% of them are free. Anything and everything non-motorized. So hiking, biking, skiing, swimming, hopping, jumping, anything and everything you can think of, non-motorized outdoors. This is one of the programs that we wanted to do in collaboration with Bristol Brewing Company, which is a huge supporter of UpaDowna, and come on, they're a beautiful building, make great beers, and allow us to take over for free. And they buy his beers tonight, so it's a really good deal. Yeah. So if you weren't enticed to be a speaker in the future, now you should be, because it's free beer. In fact, we require you to be here an hour early so we get you properly lubricated, so we get all the right stories. No, I'm kidding. But this is
all better.
Yeah, so much easier.
He dances. He dances better
too. This is our third in the series. We try to do them every month. Next month is a guy, Dana Adderati, going to tell us about his adventures in New Zealand and Europe and just a lifetime of backpacking and having a good time. The focus of this story, of this type of event, is so each and every one of you understand that your adventures are important, not only to you but to those around you, no matter how big or small. Small adventures tonight, because you guys mostly know Dana, so it's like backyard jaunts, things. I'm kidding. I'm trying to get him fired up and a little bit uncomfortable. I don't think it'll work though.
Heckling is allowed.
Yeah, heckling is encouraged tonight, actually. So where's Pete? Pete, we expect a lot of heckling tonight. A lot.
My mother was really excited about that.
Yeah, and apparently Dan's mother-in-law is going to be harassing tonight too. Please? Okay. So, without further ado, Dan Rodriguez is going to run us through camping, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you have a question towards the end of it, or if you ask the questions, please speak up so we can all hear it. If you need a beverage, it's next door. They may have a server come through, they may not. I'm not sure how that's going to work. But if you get very thirsty, you can raise your hand and we can go grab something. All right? Take it away, Dan.
Thanks, Steve. So my name's Dan Rodriguez. As Steve's didn't even introduce me very well. Again, no background. I came this whole freaking bio. Didn't read it that good.
I'm a
learner. You didn't have it. You don't even have it.
That's on the poster.
It's on the poster here. Okay. Dan Rodriguez is an experienced outdoor enthusiast of 35 years. This is from memory, people. Starting out as a cross-country runner in high school and college.
I know that part's hard to believe. Looking at me now.
We did not fact-check any of this. Dan continued the outdoor sports trend, transitioning to mountain biking, rock climbing, river rafting, skiing, and his current favorite, camping. Dan has camped all over the U.S. in some great campsites, and some that were not so great, which always makes for a good story. When Dan is not playing outside, he is an avid home brewer.
Very good job. I'll say, camping is not my favorite thing to do, but camping is what I do to get all the other things you mentioned before: rafting, rock climbing, mountain biking, all of that. That's why you use that's my launch pad. You get your little camp and you go and do all that stuff. So I'm going to tell you about some of my experiences camping over the last 35 years.
35 years.
That is correct. So it'll be about 35, almost 40 years that I've been camping. So yes, I'm old. And yes, we are. What? I do normally. I'm not brewed in 6 months. I moved to a new house. So for all you people talking, I went from 3,000 square foot home to 846.
You're camping.
It's just like camping. Like I got all this stuff and I got to take this. So I'm not brewing right now, but I'm going to get started soon here, Peter. I know you wanted. You wanted my PAs. I didn't bring any tonight, sorry. So I'm going to go through just a whole bunch of fun stuff I've done camping. Some that's good, some that's not so good. A few tips, some great places I've gone that I'd like to encourage you to check out. And just mainly just some easy stuff that you don't have to be any rich guy or super athlete to do any of this stuff that I've done, because I'm really not. Just like to go do a lot of stuff and get outdoors. So I'm gonna start out and I don't have any pictures of this because this is a long time ago. So my first camping trip. I grew up here in the West. I was born in New Mexico, moved around a lot, lived in Wisconsin, Missouri, back to New Mexico, and finally ended up here in Colorado when I was in middle school. And pretty much stayed in love with Colorado. After moving around a little bit in my professional career, I'm back in Colorado for the last 18 years and not going to leave. So this is the awesome, greatest home base you could ever have in Colorado to do the kind of stuff that I like to do for outdoor activity, which is rock climbing, mountain biking, rafting, skiing, hiking, all that great stuff, and camping, obviously. It's really cool. So my parents were not campers. We never camped. And we traveled all over the West. I went to every state west of the Mississippi except for Oregon. When I was a little kid, we would do these massive family trips and drive everywhere. And it was fun, I guess, at the time. It sometimes been good and bad, but we didn't camp. So my first camping experience was when I was in Cub Scouts, lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico. My brother and I, who's like a year and a half younger than me, went on a Cub Scout trip to the Jemez Mountains, which is just north of Santa Fe. They have a Cub Scout camp there. Went up there and spent like a week in cabins for the most part. But one night, they took us out on an overnight trip. And so my brother and I, for gear, we had no camping gear whatsoever. We had sleeping bags, but they were like these massive cotton Coleman flannel jobbies. I mean, they were like this big rolled up. And we didn't have a backpack, we didn't have nothing. So we took them and put them in a trash bag, carried them over our backs, like walking on the hiking trail. Because everybody else had backpacks and all the regular stuff. Right about when we get to the campsite, my brother's bag comes out of the bottom of the sleeping bag, rolls down a hill into a creek. And it's soaked now. This is soaked cotton. So guess what we had to do that night?
Spoon.
Oh yeah, we're spooning. So yeah, somehow some people know me better than others. And then we're like in this like cave and it's like sulfur smelling. We ran out of water, and so they got this water they're getting out of the sulfur spring. And the camp guy says, "Oh, it's fine. We're gonna put Kool-Aid in it. There's not enough Kool-Aid you can put in sulfur water. It was horrible." So I didn't know why I still camped. But that was my first time, and it was rough. But then the years got going on, and then I got into high school and hanging out with my buddies. I did run cross country. Hard to believe, looking at me now. I used to be very much smaller. And we went hiking. I remember one trip I did, my friends and I went out to near Deckers. So you're familiar with Deckers, and there's Platte that comes down from the bottom of the reservoir. There's just a beautiful stream right there. It's there's a big fishing camp there, gold medal fishing release area. So we hiked in there about a mile, brought enough gear for probably a whole Everest of salt. And we hiked in and out like 4 times, carrying all this gear for pretty much an overnight camp trip. And we had a really good time and hiking around. And I remember that sort of when I first started climbing a little bit. I was bouldering up on this stuff and I slipped. I cut myself and I still got the scar.
Wait.
That's a scar. That's a 40-year-old scar right there. So that was sort of fun.
The lucky woman.
But then, okay, give me some slides. All right, so my able-bodied assistant, this is Twyla, this is my lovely wife, Twyla. All right, so now I have pictures of me camping. Now I'm in college, and now I'm going camping, and one of my first real great camping experiences was going to Moab. This is 1985, and I went with this group, and we went rode the White Rim Trail. No helmets, borrowed a bike, no clipless pedals, no suspension. For any of you who've ridden actually not the White Rim Trail, this is the
Slick Rock, yeah.
Slick Rock Trail. So how many people have been on the Slick Rock Trail in Moab? Yeah, so that's not an easy trail. So this is way back with no suspension whatsoever, and somehow we got through it. Next one, please. Then we went out on the white rim and got this really awesome shot. And then next one. And this is my buddy Johnny Dodd. So Johnny Dodd was with us, and Johnny wrote this article about our trip. And we were going to CU Boulder at the time, and his article got posted in the daily paper, Colorado Daily, which is still you can still get now. His article got posted there. The Moab folks picked it up. It's like, they'd never seen an article like that about mountain biking back then. There was only one mountain bike shop in the whole town of Moab at the time. No McDonald's, no Sonic, none of that stuff. There was like one motel. It was pretty different. The movie theater was a Quonset hut at the time. So, I mean, this is pretty early doing stuff. And the mountain bike shop had just burned down.
Poison Spider. Poison Spider?
Rim Cycle.
Or Rim Cycle. That's right.
And so I just have actually a map of the Slick Rock Trail. It's got burned edges. So it's pretty cool. So I still have that. But Johnny wrote the article and eventually got picked up. If you're familiar with Bike Magazine, so it's a pretty popular bike magazine right now with really good articles in it. The inaugural edition of Bike Magazine had Johnny's article in it, East versus West, mountain biking. So it was our trip out there to Moab. Definitely embellished. He had added a lot of stuff to it. So Johnny lives in Oregon now, and he writes for People Magazine. So it's pretty cool. So let's see. So what's next? Okay. So that's college. I get married, and then I got to look for a job. So we end up moving to the East Coast. And so the East Coast camp is a little different out there. It's wet. Really wet for the most part. So we do a lot of canoe trips. Hit the next one, Twyla. And we would go climbing. So this is definitely 80s looking picture. This tent, you're going to see a lot of this tent. Twyla and I used this tent for a lot of trips. So this is actually a trip we went to in Pennsylvania. I think we went climbing and went to Renaissance Fair. Next one.
Car camping.
Yeah, you never know where you're going to camp. So here we're by a farm. And we're just post that over. And next. And then we went on a canoe trip once. It was so wet. So we have an air mattress in here that fits corner to corner. It's pretty much, that's all that's keeping us out of the water the whole time. It was so wet that weekend. And, that's just one of those sort of, not, I would say ugly, but just sort of bad. Or maybe ugly. Ugly's not necessarily bad.
Right.
Yeah, so I would say that was an ugly camping trip. Yeah, it was awesome. So no rain flies.
I think the rain fly had failed. I think we were past the rain fly.
Yeah. So then, and some other trips we used to do, so we on the East Coast, and there's beaches. We used to go down to Virginia Beach a lot, and go camping on the beach in the sand, and that was a lot of fun. Go crabbing and big bonfires. So that was always a good time. And then one time, Twyla and I loaded up our bikes, and we lived in South Jersey, so across the river from Philadelphia. And back then, it was really undeveloped. You could just ride for miles and miles out in the forest there. We went on this overnight trip, loaded up our bikes, just head down the road, and we stopped at this park, and they were having this big, Kiwanis, somebody chicken dinner. And so we pulled in, where you guys ride your bikes from? Well, 20 miles up the road. They thought we'd gone a long, long ways. Oh, that's great, awesome. We'll buy you chicken dinner. And so they gave us chicken dinner. And I remember on the way back, we only had 5 miles from the house. Another guy saw us on our bikes all loaded up. And he's like, oh, come on in. Let me get you some tea and lemonade. That's really awesome. So just all kinds of neat things to meet with people when you're out camping and doing outdoor stuff. Okay. So then next, we said, okay, we've been doing this stuff alone for a while. Well, this is actually mountain bike weekend. This is really fun up in Jim Thorpe,
Pennsylvania.
That's another one. It's in northern Pennsylvania. Still the same tent. We got an air bed. Got all this stuff just sort of hanging out there. But then, now we're at. Okay. Wait. Wait. Shout out to my sponsor. So every now and then I'm going to say this. Up and down, up and down, up a mountain. Down a beer. There you go. remind me to relax and drink a beer. So you guys can hear me back there okay? You sure? All good? So you guys have thrown nothing at me, so I guess I'm good. Keegan, you're good? Molly? Okay. Alright, so life-changing event coming up here. My daughter Amaya is born. And I will tell you, the one thing you gotta do is take kids camping. Kids love to go camping. Get them outside early. Like I said, I didn't start even getting out camping until I was almost 12 years old. And I didn't do a lot then.
That's what my parents did.
Next. So we got Amaya out very early. And we tried to do a lot of camping with her. And we did a lot of things to make that happen. So we got rid of the blue tent. We got this humongous tent. Next slide, please. So we got this humongous tent if I can stand in it. And inside, you can't really see, but in there we got her pop-up play tent. So we could put the pop-up play tent in one part so she could sleep in. And we would have our air mattress on the other side. And so we took that around for probably 8 years. Doing camping trips all over the east. We drive to Missouri, where Twyla's parents live. And we would take that tent with us.
Until she was 8.
No, we kept the tent, not the pop-up. But we still had the pop-up thing waiting for our granddaughter sometime soon. We still have We're getting married next summer. We're gonna have to soon now.
You give him another beer.
Sometime soon could be 5 years. Okay, next slide.
Do you have an announcement to make?
Good answer.
First steps.
The one thing Maya loved to do when we would take her out camping, you know, like I said, you gotta get kids out. So she would take this little beach chair we had and push her around with a walker. So that's about 3 weeks before she could actually walk on her own. I was hoping to have a video of it, but I couldn't get that to work. I'm technology challenged. Bunny will answer the calls.
Oh, I love this.
Next.
I love this picture.
I just love that.
Yeah.
So that's actually near UpaDowna at a lake that we've been fishing.
And it's
at.
proof that you sleep really well when you're outside, I think.
When you're outside, yeah. She would never sleep anywhere else except in the car or at home. Not even in the car, only at home. Okay. What do I got next? So then this is a sort of segues into my next thing. So you can camp anywhere. So it doesn't have to be like, you know, some remote mountain area or whatever. So we really discovered having Amaya, and then Twyla's a really good musician and our love of music. We started going to music festivals.
Sweet.
And just camping there at music festivals. So this is at the Kerrville Folk Festival a long time ago. And this one was a really fun festival. So we had a little tent set up there. And we would just hang out and walk around, and then Amaya and Twyla went to bed early, and then I could just walk around with my little six-pack of beer and take my chair and walk around in different, they had music circles. There's just people jamming and playing music, so my jamming music friends out there, they know exactly what I'm talking about, and it was really fun. And not just off the side of this picture, there was actually a big top tent that somebody set up. And they had an upright piano in there, and they played till probably 4 in the morning. It was pretty fun. So we've been to a lot of music festivals, just camping there at the music festivals, having a good time, listening to music on the stage, and then after that's all done, we're walking around at different campsites or different fire circles, playing music and listening to music. So this one's at Palisade Bluegrass Festival. Palisade is a really great festival. Really fun place to go. There's some really good mountain biking near there. The Colorado River's right there if you want to do some rafting. So, you know, there's other things you can do besides just listen to music. So you see we have our bikes there, and I'll show you some pictures later.
I think that's the
Biking on Palisade.
Biederman raft right there.
Yep, Beach raft.
Isn't it?
He was going rafting after we got done.
It looks like your raft.
There's a group playing, jamming right there. This, I think, is at
Westcliff.
Westcliff. They have a really good festival there. The camping, not the best camping, it's just sort of in a field, but everybody just has fun and sets it up. It's a pretty good time. Excellent. That's Westcliff too. So you just see, they just sort of set up a field and There's RVs and tents, and just we sort of on top of each other. It's a really fun time. So then next, really my favorite type of climbing is desert camping. I love the desert. Like I showed you back, 1985 was my first trip to Moab, and I've pretty much been to Moab every year since, at least once a year, if not more. I love the desert, I love climbing in the desert, I love rafting in the desert, just love being there, mountain biking. And so the cool thing about desert camping is you don't need a tent. You can just camp outside. So this is a trip that we took a long time ago. This is a Colorado National Mine, just outside of Grand Junction. We just pulled outside the road and just laid out. We've done that a lot of times. We actually did this once. There was a Slick Rock Trail. We pulled off the side of the road, laid out our tents, and then in the middle of the night, ATVs and 4x4s came rolling through us. We didn't realize we set up our tents like right on the edge of a very popular 4x4 trail. That scared the heck out of us. But really not much different than that. You just, wherever you can go. And, normally the desert doesn't rain, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Even though we did find out in our last raft trip a couple weeks ago that it rained more than we were expecting. What's next? Okay, so I got a lot of cool desert campsites that I really like to recommend and people check out. So we were going out to San Diego. Twyla had some training out there for a week. So we took a 2-week family trip. And on the way out, we said, oh, we need to go check out the north rim of the Grand Canyon. Let's go to Zion, Bryce. So trying to find a campsite that could sort of hit all that stuff. We found this really awesome place outside of Kanab, Utah called Pink Sand Dunes. This place is great. It's like situated right in between all the North Rim, Zion, and Bryce. Very easy to get to, very beautiful, but it's all RVs and ATVs. I mean, it's a huge ATV, like they let ATVs, four-wheelers, and everything you can imagine zoom all over this place. So we were the only tents in the campground, but it was still a really cool spot that just was a cool jumping off point for going to Zion, going to Bryce, going to the North Rim. And so we had a really good time there. We were there over the 4th of July and had this amazing 4th of July parade. And these 10, 20 person families of just perfect little kids all walking around. And then we went and saw a fireworks show at this Box Canyon. And lit up, burned the whole Box Canyon down. It was insane. Amaya was like freaking out, we're all gonna die. And we're still here. There were some things you have to watch out for though at night. So this is on the walk to the restroom from that tent. So there was a big old rattlesnake, and pretty much every time we would drive into camp at the end of the night, there would be a rattlesnake across the road on the drive-in. But this one was actually on the trail to the restroom, so the ranger came up and he put it in a cooler, didn't he? Somebody gave him a cooler, he put it in a cooler and carried it off. So that's interesting desert camping. Next. So along the Moab River corridor, there's tons of great campsites. So back in the day, I can say that I'm old. Back in the day, you could camp wherever you wanted. So nowadays, there are hard to decide you. There's only certain places you can camp, and you got to pay camp fees. But it's still really beautiful along the Moab River corridor for camping. And so this is a Dewey Bridge, which is probably, if you're coming off I-70 heading to Moab on the river road, this is the first campsite you'll hit as you cross the new Dewey Bridge. The old Dewey Bridge was made of wood and burned down. Some pyro kid burned it down. It's too bad. On my first trip to Moab in '85, we actually drove over that wood. Gone now. But very cool campground here. Excellent. Same campsite, really awesome there. So this is like the Kokopelli Trail right by there. This campground is just past the Slick Rock. You go a little farther past there, so I was up here with the UpaDowna boys. We had a good time. I was going to show the video. Yeah, so that's Steve's fancy trailer there. There's his tent over there. There's my tent there.
Oh, one thing I'd like to bring to you guys' attention. If you ever plan on camping with a man, earplugs. These are the litmus snorer.
That's pretty much well-known fact. Well-known fact, Peter. Alright.
Throw you off.
This is getting ready for climbing Indian Creek, so that's my tent back there. So Indian Creek is a little farther south of Moab in the Canyonlands area. Awesome place for climbing. I love going down there. I've done a couple of clinics there with some really famous climbers. I'm really glad I've been able to do that. And there is some dispersed camping. You can camp wherever you want. There are some set campgrounds. So this is sort of a dispersed area, which is pretty cool. And then the next one is sort of their new area they're trying to get developed for camping. So we had a big group here to have a weekend. What's that called? So I'm sorry, but so we had a big group of climbers here. It was pretty much a clinic the whole week.
Oh, splitter camp.
Huh?
Splitter camp.
Splitter camp. Yeah, thanks, sir. Friends put on splitter camp. So Dave was out with me once for splitter camp. I've gone to it a couple times. It's a pretty fun time. You more or less learn how to crack climb, and then you get to watch really amazing athletes crack climb and meet some really cool people. So that's fun. So I really love going down there to Indian Creek. And next, another awesome. So you don't have to climb. You can go mountain biking. So this is a trip we did a couple of years ago, mountain biking.
Porcupine.
On the Porcupine Rim. Porcupine Rim is this rim right here that looks down in the Castle Valley. So this is if you go into Moab, past Slick Rock Trail, keep driving, you get up on the Porcupine Rim Trail, and it takes you back down to the river and back into Moab eventually. And it's a really, really awesome trail, and pretty much super fun. And a little bit technical, but anybody can do it. You just take your time.
Downhill. It's downhill.
Mostly downhill. And in fact, the way we did it was all downhill. We went up the new. There's a couple of little add-ons. And the first time I did it, I actually did a whole loop. It's like 30 miles from town and back. But I'm older now and smarter. So we went way all the way up the top and downhill the whole way for the most part. There's some technical stuff, but you can walk around with really hard stuff. So Pete, you can. Alright, and then another place I like, to go do some climbing. So I was out
no.
doing a climbing trip. So I remember Pete and Lisa from last show. So they were here. And so you can see our little outpost community is sort of tight. We all do stuff together. So here we're climbing at the ice cream parlors, just on Cane Creek Road, just outside of Moab. And next slide, we found this really awesome campground. We're like trying to find a place to camp. We came by and it was like this little place just off the road, off Cane Creek Road, has like 6 walk-in spots. It's called Moonflower Campground. Definitely recommend it if you're going and car camping, tent camping. There's a restroom and that you walk across. There's a little gully and you go in there. And like I said, there's 6 tent spots. It's incredibly beautiful. And then the really cool thing is, like we were at night, so we climb all day. So it's getting dark. We're cooking our dinner. And then like, hear all this racket. I'm like, what the heck is going on? We see these headlights going up this rock. So next slide. So right here at the entrance to the Moonflower Campground, there's some petroglyphs. And they have this little log thing around there to protect the petroglyphs. But right at the corner here, next slide, there's a log like built inside the chimney there. There's these logs with little steps cut in. You can climb in there and up. And it's about, I would say, 30 feet. You gotta climb up inside that little chimney and you come up on top. So we're there eating our dinner and all of a sudden there's these kids yelling up on top of their headlamps. Like, what the heck? So of course we had to go do it. So we got our headlamps on and crawled up in there. So I definitely recommend that. Moonflower Campground is a really, really nice campground and do the log climb. It's pretty cool. Alright, what do we got next? Next. Alright. So now we move out of Utah a little bit and go down to Nevada. Like I said, I love the desert. I love climbing. And no place better in the world to go rock climbing
than Las Vegas.
Conservation area, just on the edge of Las Vegas. And there's every type of climber there. If you're a boulderer, there's world-class bouldering. If you're a sport climber, world-class sport climber. If you're a trad climber, you can't find anything better in the world. I mean, you could spend your whole life climbing there at Red Rock. and I'm trying to do that. So I've been going like almost twice a year now for the last 5 years. I love it. I mean, it's just an amazing amount of rock. It's beautiful. It's right on the edge of Vegas. So you can climb through the day, go through the Vegas thing at night if that's what you're into, and then come back and climb the next day if you can wake up. So, but
Oops.
I will tell you, do not. All right, so here's some of the climbing. So this is me climbing a route called Armatron. It's a really awesome route. It's only 5'6" on the part I'm on there.
It's like bricks.
It's just amazing, super rock. Next one. Now it just goes these tiles forever, and it's super easy climbing. And if you're good, you can get the nuts to stick. And if you're not, they fall out. And you're 30, 40 feet up, and you're like, oh shoot, I really wish I didn't get a can. Yeah, and nuts need to stick. So nuts is a climbing apparatus, if you don't know, that's slots in the rock.
What's the name of that climb?
This one's called Armatron. So this is on the brownstone wall. If you're familiar with Red Rock. So it's a little bit of hiking to get to it. It's probably a almost 2 hour hike to get to the base of the climb. But it's amazing to climb. Next. Oh, there's some more of my climbing buddies. So now you're at Red Rock. Where are you going to stay? So this thing about camping, I'll tell you, do not camp at Red Rocks. Next. So here's the sign for the campground. Wow, it looks beautiful. Look at this, look at the back, awesome. Next slide. There's the campground. This place is a dust bowl. Wind blows all the time. It's horrible. And if you get there really late, like we did the one time I camped there, you get this kind of campsite. It's a little rock ring. There's like 20 of these on top of each other. And you walk in and build your tent, and it is horrible. So do not camp there. Your other camping options are, you can camp there. The circus has an RV park right in the middle of the strip. I don't recommend that. So for Las Vegas, this is what I recommend. Yes. So I stay at the Grand View Resort. I'm not getting paid for this plug, but I tell you, this place is amazing. You get great deals. There's your room, the beautiful king-size bed, jacuzzi tub, right, Pete? How many times you slept in a jacuzzi tub? Love it. Yeah. So Vegas, don't go camping. All right, but now where am I going? Okay, so now I'm moving along the west. So I'm heading to Yosemite. I'd never been to Yosemite until just a few years ago. So on our way, we stopped in Moab, camped there, did a little climbing. We're going to stay a little longer, and then we got a snowstorm. We're like, well, let's get out of Utah. We went to Vegas, and we spent a day in Moab at that horrible campground. And then we kept driving to get to Yosemite. And we're like, well, we're driving, it's getting late. Where do we stay? We're in Bakersfield, California. I don't know if people know Bakersfield, California. But you're not going to think that that is really great camping in Bakersfield, California. At least I didn't. But we found this amazing place just outside of Bakersfield, California, called, what is it called? Kern River Campground. So it's on the Kern River. And the Kern River is actually a really cool river, and you do rafting and kayaking on it. It's got grass campsites. Next one. So here's us setting up our site. I mean, it's beautiful. And then showers, hot showers. We're like, oh, this is like an oasis campsite we never expected to find. Really super fun. It was a great change from that really crappy Red Rock campground. So now we're getting ready to go to Yosemite. Next up. So there's your ultimate site. You drive in, you come through the tunnel. That's what you see. El Cap here, Half Dome back there. Cathedral Buttress is over here. I mean, it's so beautiful getting into Yosemite. But I'm going to tell you some things about the camping in Yosemite. It's not wilderness camping. Right, Steve? Not wilderness camping. So we actually had a discussion about this last night about what Park Service tries to decide to do. You just do dispersed camping. Sort of spread people out, sort of get that wilderness experience. or you jam everybody into sort of one area. You do a lot of impact to one area so you keep the rest of it more pristine. And that's definitely what they've done here in Yosemite Valley. They got everybody concentrated into one area. So you got a lot of people on top of everybody else camping together. So you got big groups, and some are climbers, and some are nature people, and some are just there to get out of town and have a good time. And maybe don't really care that much about nature and everything else like that so much. Right, Steve? Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely crowded. And the other thing about Yosemite camping is you have to have a reservation. And their reservation system is not easy. So they open up certain days. So if you want to camp, in May or whatever, you need to make your reservation in December. And so they normally, like say, December 15th, 8 o'clock in the morning, it will open up the reservation system to get from May to September, something like that. They have a window. So here's the key though. You have to be on that computer at 8 o'clock in the morning on December 15th, ready to pick your site. If you're not ready, at 8:02 on December 15th, all the campgrounds are gone for that whole season until the next window opens up. So we found this out. First time I went, we actually had 3 people on there on site. We were actually able to get 2 sites fairly close to each other. It was a miracle. Just recently, as Ryan will attest, and I have Jess Maris, world record nose climber, super athlete, not so good on the computer. So we got Jess, me, and another friend, John. We're on the computer all trying to get sites next to each other. And you can actually watch the sites disappearing in front of your eyes as you're trying to grab them. And I was able to get one the second week. John got one the first week. And Jess was 20 miles up the valley. They disappeared so fast. I mean, they go that fast. It's amazing. So definitely, if you're trying to make a Yosemite reservation between May 15th and September 15th, you want to get like 5 people on the computer, all moving very fast, and hopefully get something. Because once we got there, we had a bunch of other friends over there, and there were guys actually moving their tents almost every other day. The different sites that were open, that they had friends, and then, I got a reservation those 2 days, I don't have nothing these 2 days, and then they would go stay in a hotel for a day, and then they would come back. And they're going to try to stay there more than a week. It's a lot of work. So not an easy system, but you can make it work, especially if you have friends. So that's why I call it municipal campsites. But seriously, our friends are moving their tents almost every other day for a while there. In fact, Steve came in, he had nothing. He thought, I'm just going to walk in and get a campsite. Didn't you think that's it? Yeah, Jay, we'll be there in 2 days. Yeah, I did like that, Steve. And but we were ready to let him join with us because we were doing that the whole time. Other thing with Yosemite, you gotta watch out for bears. You gotta lock everything up. If you go backcountry camping, they give you a little container to put your food in. You're not supposed to go and put makeup on or anything like that when you go sleep. The bear can smell that and try to rip into your tent. We were the other morning just once, like I turned, moved something over here, left the bear box open. Actually, we were moving campsites, so I left like one little bag of something in the middle. Came back, totally ripped out. And there were people next door, like eating breakfast, cooking it, and none of them saw the bear. Totally ripped it out.
Why do you sleep in makeup?
Hey, I did not wake up like this.
What do you do if you sleep in makeup?
I do not look like this. Hey, that's not right. Okay, got limited campfire hours. No campfires during the day. Why would you not have campfires in the morning? You wake up, I want a campfire, say morning. Why would you not want a campfire in the morning?
Can't get a picture like that.
That's right.
Smoke, exactly. So they don't let you do campfires in the morning because most people do not have dry camp firewood. It makes it very smoky. It gets all hazy and it would ruin all your good pictures. So no campfires in the morning. At night it's only 8 to 10, maybe 11 until the ranger comes and knocks on you. Okay, you got to put out your fire. Oh, and if you do go, and you're going to be there a while and you don't want to buy camp firewood, people leave every day and they do not burn all their firewood. So you just make the rounds about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, you get all the firewood you need. Little trick, little tip of the trade. trick of the trade. All right, next. So there's you have different choices on where you can camp. Once you decide where you go, you can camp. Camp 4, that's a very famous climbers camping area. National Register of Historic Places. Here's what Camp 4 looks like.
Oh,
It looks a little bit like that Red Rock camp. I mean, you're seriously on top of each other. You can only stay there a couple of days. People change out, but all climbers, the dirtbag climbers, sleeping everywhere, going slackline, getting their gear together for the trip they may or may not be going on. Or you can go next to where I normally stay, is Upper Pines. I love Upper Pines Campground. It's got pretty easy access to Glacier Point Apron, which is some really nice moderate climbing right there. There's some bouldering real close right there. The bus is right there and gets you into town, into the other parts of the campground. And it's not too crowded, so it's a pretty cool little spot there. So recommend Glacier or Upper Pines for camping. This is probably not what you should not do before you're going to go climbing. Yeah, but you're going to have fun. You're going to get the shot ski out. You can see how smoky that fire is. So this guy in the middle, I forgot his name already. Do not ask him for climbing data. Do not, especially after he's done the shots. So next, so my friends and I was like, okay, we came to Yosemite. It's my first trip here. We want to do a big objective, so we picked the Royal Arches. So Royal Arches is a fairly moderate climb in Yosemite, but it's long. It's 1,400 feet, 5.7, A0. A0 means you have a little bit of aid you're going to use, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. It's 16 pitches, if you did listen to the guy with the shot ski. So the shot ski guy says, oh yeah, you guys, so there's 3 of us going to go. He said, oh, you don't need 2 ropes, just take 1 rope. So we got 1 rope, so now we got to tie somebody in the middle. He said, oh, and you don't need to rappel because you can just walk off the top. Very easy, 2 hours. Okay, yeah, we got that. So 2 days later, we get up bright and early. Next slide, please. Here we are. We're all ready to go. This is going to be awesome. We got 1 rope. 3 people tied into 1 rope. We're going to get started. Next slide, please. Nobody on the route. This is looking up. This is a foretelling picture that we had no idea. But notice all that water on the route. Notice those trees up at the top. Okay, just remember those for later. Okay, next. So you keep climbing. A lot of water on the route. So normally the route would go up this little gully here, so we have to go around that. This is early May, 4 years ago. Not like this year. This year was very dry. Everything was dry by mid-June already. Heading up, see the waterfall up there? That's me up here. Next one. So this is my friend John. So this section here, go back 1. So get from here to where he is pretty much underneath the waterfall. There's actually a little rope and you swing across to get across to one part. So that's the A0. So slide to the A. Normally, if you want to free climb that could go at 10B. But with the water and everything, it's a little slick. So we swung across. So John gets across. Next. And that's the biggest shoes on. Pardon?
Is it just because the water gets in the shoes?
Yeah, because this whole part is totally soaked. There's that waterfall running down there, so we have all our shoes off. This whole section here. Next, please. So there's me and Jory coming across, pretty much the same part. We both got our shoes off. There's Half Dome in the back, running. It's beautiful right there. We're pretty high up here. We're about 1,000 feet up. This is the first time we're really getting exposure. Most of the time we're just sort of zigzagging on ledges, and you really can't see all the way down. But from here, where we're standing there, you can see all the way down to the bottom. So it's pretty cool. Next, please. Oh, but now, because we only had 1 rope, 16 pitches actually became almost 30 pitches, because you almost have to do half pitches, because we only had 1 rope. Because most climbing is based on having a full rope for each, in between each pitch. So that's 100 to 150 feet. And we're only going 75 feet, because we have to bring another person up. So it's getting late. Now it's dark. That is the last pitch. This is at the end here. Next slide. Okay, so back there, if you remember, I showed you John with his shoes off. So he's pretty much at 9. Number 9. 15 right there is where we go back, please.
Oh.
15 is where we're looking at across the way there. You sort of see a dot over there, just somebody over at the end of their rope. Now it's dark. So go back. So now, normally you would come down, but we didn't bring a wrap rope, so we can't go down. We got to go up. So now we're in these trees. Remember those trees I showed you at the start with the waterfalls? That's where we're at. So next. Oh yeah, that's going to be our campsite tonight. We wandered around those trees for probably over 2 hours trying to find the way out to the top. And we found this one spot that was totally water. We got a headlamp and like, that can't be it. We walked down the edge, and I came down around the edge here, and pretty much under this here, it was a full-on waterfall. I'm like, well, that can't be it. And I'm looking down, 1,000 feet, and I see the hotel down there. It's a really fancy hotel. I'm pretty sure here the clean fine china and wine glasses tinkling and toasting everything while we're sitting up there. And then we're pretty much realizing, next slide, yeah, this is where we're going to sleep tonight. So this is me making our bed out of our rope. Fortunately, I had the rope tarp with me, rope bag, so that was our blanket. That's the heaviest jacket I had. Next, John, here's John. John has a little bit heavier jacket. There's John realizing he's going to be swimming with Jory, who's the other girl with us. Next, there's Jory realizing she's going to have to swim with her. Stay warm for the night. And so needless to say, that was a long, cold, not fun night. We could hear people on the walkie-talkies like, I see headlamps up there. I think there's people up there. Oh yeah, we're up here. So we made it through the night. I mean, it was a nice big area. I mean, easily as big as this and flat, fairly flat. We stayed tied in and anchored to a tree, but we really probably wouldn't have fallen off. So we got up the next morning. Yep, there's the way out. We had to go across this water area. We had to take our shoes off again, get across there, and then next one. And then we sort of had to follow that red line out and around. And the 2-hour climb, the guys go, the 2-hour way out is if you know what you're doing. We had no idea where we were going. It was more than 4 hours out that next day. So the next slide, and it was not easy. You see Jory is not happy coming down on the way down. There was ski, there was sled, and there were parts there, if we'd gone in the dark, I came right up the edge of the cliff and just ball bearing, loose screen, we could easily have gone off. So it's a good thing we did not find a way out the night before and just wait till the next day and get off, even though it took a long day. So that's definitely the bad and the ugly of camping. Don't recommend that. That's not a registered campsite. Don't try to sign up for that one. Don't do it. But that was my Royal Arches trip, and crazy enough, I got those two to go back with me to Yosemite just like a few months ago. We had a really good time, and nobody camped out overnight unintentionally. So it all worked out good. So I think now it's time for up a mountain.
Down the beer. Do you like compass, Steve? That one.
How am I doing for time? See? Oh, okay, you don't even know. All right. So next thing I'll talk about. Okay, so now I'm talking about some of my cool trips, going to Vegas, and Yosemite, and Moab. You don't even have to go that far away to have a really good time camping. We got some really awesome local spots here to go camp, which I'm going to share with you some of my places I really like going, and I think you should check out. So next one. Oh wait, there we are. We made it back. We're alive.
Yeah.
So one place that actually I just recently discovered, and some of my friends have been going there for a while, is Pueblo Reservoir. Really fun area to go mountain biking, and there's just a range of mountain biking, like super technical stuff and super easy stuff. And then you got the lake there. If you want to go do the lake stuff, or you got a dog, you want to take your dog to the lake. And the campgrounds are really nice, and they have showers and everything. So that's something we've just been doing the last couple of years. So next slide. There's Ryan killing it on the log drop. Nice. So that's some technical stuff. And then having a good old time by the campfire. And here's one of my tips on campfires, especially here in Colorado with all the fire danger we got, get you a little propane campfire. You don't have to worry about wood and putting it out and stuff like that. Just turn it off, it's off. And in the morning, you can use that in Yosemite. They don't care. So that's a cool idea. It works really great. It's on and off just like you want. So a lot of fun. Another place we discovered we really like is the Angel Shibano campground. So that's just north of Salida, going just as you're starting to go over Monarch Pass. They got this really great beaver ponds for fishing. And they have a regular campground that you can get reservations and there's a toilet there and all that stuff and water. But if that's full, you can just go up just a little farther up the road. There's a lot of dispersed camping. You aren't very far. You can walk down to get the water and use the restrooms. So this is the welcome wagon here, just up the road from Shibano. So we were just there a couple months ago, and these mountain goats are there every morning, just wandering up through the campground, up the hills. And this is just across the road from where we're at. There's Twilight, shameless plug for UpaDowna. So that's a really good spot if you can't get in at the campground that's just up the road, like a half mile across the creek. Really cool little spot right there that overlooks the waterfall. That's Angel Shibano. Definitely go there. That's a fun spot.
No name?
Angel of Shibano. And the Colorado Trail goes right through there. Some really cool mountain biking right out the back of the campground. Actually, one of my little favorite sections of the Colorado Trail is right there for just a short little mountain bike ride. Here's another one of my favorite spots. We've been going this one for years. It's Browns Creek Campground. And this is like unofficial campground. It's like on the Browns Creek Trail. This is in Forest, Belen. No fees to stay here. Where this campsite is probably about 100 yards from the trailhead. And the trailhead, there's a pit toilet and stables that going up and down the trail. And so you can go out, that's another alternate way to go up on Mount Antero. It's right there. So it's a really fun place. And you can hang out. There's a bunch of fire rings already made, so just pull ups, first come, first serve. Next one, please. Slack line. Next one, still slack line. So that's a really fun spot. And this is like a big, huge view. You can probably fit 10 tents in there if that's a big group. It's a pretty fun little area. It's free, just in Forest Service land. Next. And then my other favorite area, it's a little bit farther away. It's across the state. This is in Fruita, called James Robb Campground. So we use this for a kickoff for a lot of different trips, whether going mountain biking in Fruita, or going rock climbing, Colorado National Monument, or going on a raft trip on the Horse Leaf Trail. This James Robb Campground, I think, is really awesome. It's a little bit urban. You're right on the edge of there's a McDonald's right behind you, and a dinosaur museum. But they're really nice, hard campsites, really great showers. It's right by the river. Next one, please. You find some wildlife. You're out mountain biking, some awesome collar lizard. And he did not like the next slide. I caught it. So I'm up on the Fruita Trail. So
What's the wristband? Were you in the hospital?
That's from the music festival.
That's from the Palisade Bluegrass Festival. So I can get it. So we took the morning off to go to the
That's with
mountain
Peter,
biking
with
before we went
Will.
before we went back to the festival. Excellent. And this is right at the boat ramp at James Robb. So it's just beautiful right there. Really cool little spot. So definitely recommend that campground. And another one, you're going to Rocky Mountain National Park. You don't want to camp in a park. A really fun way to stay is right outside.
That's sand dunes. Wait, that's
Oh,
sand
my
dunes.
thing's out. Okay, I forgot. Sand dunes. Great sand dunes. It's really awesome.
Do you remember
If
that?
you have little kids, it's the world's biggest sandbox ever. And it has water running through it. So they have so much fun. It's incredible. And then I went on one of my daughter's school trips down there. I took my skis with me and tried to ski down the dunes. But it really didn't go so fast. They were running faster than me when I got down. But it was still fun. Well, I definitely recommend that campground. And again, very hard to size, like nice platforms. You really sit in. Really, really cool place to go. So that's just south of town.
Is that a Camelback or an Avalon?
Next.
Is it?
All right, then the next one is if you go to Rocky Mountain National Park
Oh,
and you don't stay in the
Fiber
park,
Festival.
just outside the park are these awesome teepees. And the teepees are great. You can stay inside. They're actually concrete floor with like AstroTurf. And they have like a little stub out with the plugs. You can plug in your
I
iPhone or whatever.
charge my
You just lay in that. And I thought they were really pretty cool.
Is it part of the park system?
It's not part of the
No,
park.
it's a
This is
private.
resort. I don't remember the name of it.
I don't remember.
If you want the name, I can get the name. It's just right outside the entrance of the park. Yeah,
It's
really
the only
fun.
time I ever stayed in a teepee.
And they have a swimming pool there. And so then the sort of getting close to wrapping up, but not that close.
Oh,
Is that the next thing I learned started a few years ago, my very good friend Will Biederman. Hey Will Biederman. He's like the raft god here, or at least my raft god. So taught me all about rafting and got me into rafting. So I started out going to Moab, following Will, go down San Juan River, and I would rent the raft, load it on my car, and go rafting. And finally got me so into it, I bought my own raft. So the next picture is my raft, loaded up. So rafting is like car camping, except you're bringing the car with you the whole time. You can take everything you want. You do not have to minimize. It makes, I got to take. My wife likes to take like the little smallest chair. Like, why? I can put a humongous chair on this.
we brought a lazy boy recliner once.
You can bring anything you want. So we're totally loaded up. And we've got more beer than you ever drink.
Is that possible?
It is not possible. It is possible.
We have
I
brought beer
came
back.
back this last trip with a case of beer. I learned a few times I ran out of beer. It'll never happen again. So you got water, you got everything you want. It's so much fun. And our desert rivers are actually fairly easy. They're not super hard. You're not going to get killed. It's not the Arkansas. These are desert rivers. So they're really good. So we go out. So what's the next one? Oh, except for
Oh, that's
Dave.
Dave. What's up?
Where is he? Okay, except for Dave might get killed. This is on the San Juan River, the South Bluff, Utah, very southeast corner of Utah.
It takes an expert
There's
to
really
really
only-
lock that well.
There's like only one class 2 on the river. There's one bad place you can get hung up, and Dave found it.
I left at the wrong time.
So everybody has fun when you go on the river. River trips are just about having a good time. You can sleep on your raft, sleep on the ground, sleep with a tent, sleep without a tent. I mean, obviously you got to worry about mosquitoes. There's wind, and there's sand, and sometimes it's hot, and sometimes it's all 4 of them at the same time. You're like, this really sucks. But then the sun comes up and everything's nice, and you go back
Aww.
to the river. So it's really pretty good for the most part. Next. So they're just examples. Some of the campgrounds. You can hit the next one. You know, just laying out. So you can see here Laurel here wiping the sand out of her eyes, I think. And so she's got her tent set up. This is the poles. So she's ready if it rains or winds or whatever. But if it doesn't, then she sleeps outside. So we do that a lot. Or we have tents just set up in the back and have you sleep out on the ground. And then if it starts to rain, then you make the mad dash for the tent. Next. Next. So sleeping outside is really the joy of most raft trips. And again, desert stuff. You can do this. It doesn't have to be on a raft trip. Hanging out. Next. There's a big group. I mean, see people spread out all over the place. Next. While sleeping pretty much all the time. Next.
That's a San Juan in Utah.
Listen to all the San Juan.
Scott took this picture.
Time for a beer. UpaDowna!
Up a mountain.
Alright, next. Next.
You have to tell us about these. You can't say next.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna say this one. So
Don't
this is
encourage.
one of my favorite, at least favorite campsites on the San Juan River. So this is Ross, right? And so this one is, I mean, it's got a great little shelf there, got this great sand beach. go up and down. You can drag the jockey up and down through the rapids. It's fairly easy to do that. But also, if it gets windy, the sand just howls off of here. And we've had so many chicken breast coated sandwiches, sand coated sandwiches, and bugs have been horrible there. Then also other times it's just been really great. And the fishing is really good here too, which we'll see later. The catfish love coming underneath these ledges.
I have to tell a story here. Deb and I, we were on a trip together here, and one night, like at 2 a.m, we were both miserable. It was extremely hot, and it was very windy, and we were both rolling around, and we sit up in the middle of the night, and I see Deb across the shelf there. She's sitting up at like 2 a.m, and what did you say? Damn it! Right, we lay back down. I can't sleep.
Yeah, so it gets so hot, like you gotta cover it in because the bugs or the sand is so bad, and it's too hot to do that. And it just.
But then when morning comes, we're like, yeah, we're ready to do it again. Let's go again.
I mean, you get great views. I mean, the river's just beautiful. Even the Colorado desert rivers, the Utah rivers. I may have too much to drink.
Oh, there's Happy. Happy.
Every
Scott,
fun.
Dave, Deb. Okay.
So you can get a general idea. I mean, river camping just like any other camping, just like car camping. You take all your stuff and load it all out. The only problem is, most all the time you gotta load it all back in, go down the next day to the next site. So it's sort of nice when you have like 2 nights at one site. So here's Scott doing some fishing, I think.
Philosophizing.
Other things you can do on river trips is go hiking. So this is an
Baseball man.
so this is a
San
chili
Juan.
wash, and there's some amazing petroglyphs and ruins on this one. But this is on the Navajo side of the river. You have to get a Navajo permit to go on this side of the river. They don't always respond. You send them your money, you may not get a response. You just sort of hope they got it and you're okay and nobody's going to arrest you for parking there on their side of the river. And it's a really nice campsite there at that wash. And there's this baseball man petroglyph. It's really cool stuff. Other things we like to do on the river, bocce ball is a lot of fun.
Which for
Bocce.
some reason Jack had to have a helmet to play bocce ball. That's what I
You wore the whole helmet the whole time
I
back
know, that's right.
because the kids playing. I forgot my helmet. And then the next thing is you do, who knows about butt darts? Who's ever played butt darts? Alright, so maybe not everybody knows what butt darts is. So there's a Maya demonstrating butt darts next. There's me in proper butt dart form. So I don't know if anybody knows what butt darts is. So essentially what butt darts is you have Deb. I have a demonstrator going to come up here and show you butt darts. So you do wear your clothes for these butt darts, just so you all know.
It helps if you don't wear underwear.
Helps. So butt darts is essentially you take a quarter, and you have your own quarter. Nobody shares quarters. And you place the quarter appropriately in the butt, and then you will go and put it into the receptacle.
I didn't know you were so ready.
We start out with this side of the receptacle, and then we'll work our way down. And work our way down. And then just recently we had a new butt dart record where Deb got it in this pill box.
How you didn't share quarters?
That is the actual core mile.
That barely fits in there. So that is like touching both sides. So that is a world record butt dart. So there you go. If you've never been on the river, you can use it any camping. You can do bocce ball at any camp trip. You can do butt darts any camp trip. I suggest you do butt darts. There I'm going to a small little bowl there. And Deb and I were neck and neck on that pill jar. She just beat me. Mine rimmed off, and she got hers right on top. All right, next. All right, so this is again on the San Juan River, and this is the bailout campsite. So we've gone down on the river. We have this one campsite called Steer Gulch. Right, Steer Gulch down. Never ever ask for Steer Gulch campsite. It is mosquito city. So I went scouting out ahead on the Ducky. I pull out to get the Steer Gulch. I had not even gone on the top where the sign is. Where I got like 100 mosquitoes on me. And I'm like, running. No! Go! Keep going! And so we kept going, and a little farther down is another better campsite that's already taken. So we had to go farther down, and we got this sandbar here. So that worked out pretty good. No mosquitoes unless you went across way over here into the woods, into the reeds. The mosquitoes are over there. But on the sandbar we were good. Survived. But next, anybody know what this is? I know all my black people know what that is. So this is the key. Key to what? The key to the bathroom, or as we call on the river, the group room. So if you see the key, you pick it up and go to the bathroom. And so the bathroom is something like this. So we put a toilet system out on the end of the sandbar. So this is on the end of that sandbar I showed you earlier, where we escaped the mosquitoes. So this is not quite as fancy as the one we showed a little later. We just took some oars and stood them up and put a sun shelter around it to set some sort of privacy, because everybody else is camping down here. It's open out that end. Well, Scott was out there early in the morning, taking care of his business. The whole thing pretty much blew down, and that other people I told you of the other campsite who said it was better, but couldn't take it because it was already taken. Iowa.
University of Iowa outdoor program.
We're all coming down river. Steve had his unfortunate. So next. So this is the end of the San Juan trip. You do want to get out right here. You do not want to go any farther. It's a 10-foot drop, and it's because this is all because of the way the
Lake Powell.
Lake Powell is sort of receding. It's silting up so much. It's starting to silt up the river. So actually the last 5 miles of the San Juan River is still silted in from the dam way down below. So you really have to navigate and do a lot of this and this downstream. Even though it's super wide, there's only a small channel. So much. And it's causing these dams to form, and they like collapse and they move upriver. It's 10-foot drops. So you don't want to go. So take out there. So here we are, getting all loaded up, getting ready for another trip. Next one, please. Now, another trip we did was the Green River. The Green River is a really fun trip. So you take that out of Green River, Utah, and you take out just before the confluence of the Green River in Colorado. And we did this trip, next one, with Laurel Biederman's grandmother.
92.
92 years old. What an awesome lady. So we had super fun going on the trip with her. She's telling us these stories at the front of the Grand Canyon like in the 60s. It was way different than it was now. So we had so much fun on that trip. And that's a very easy river. News Creek on this river is really not any rapids. Just the scenery is amazing. There were these awesome rock towers. I wish I could put a picture of it. So I was like, oh man, I gotta go climb these towers. 2 weeks later, one of the rock climbing magazines, these professional climbers have gone in and climbed all those towers. And I just had my eyes on them. They were scooping me. It's like, ah! So that's a fancy river site. So here we're back at James Robb, getting to go hit on the Ruby Horse Feed. So this is right outside of Recruita. Another really fun trip, very easy water. Canoes can make it, right? Scott, yes, made it. Not too hard. Getting the boats fired up. Next. Oh, making sure we're well stocked for beer. We're not going to run out. We're not going to run out. And actually, this is the really old picture. That was back when Pale Ale was the only one that had craft brews. I mean, now there's so many folks. It's great. But that's the fun thing about living in Colorado. So this is on the Ruby Horse Steep at one of the Black Rock campgrounds. So Ruby Horse Steep has some really awesome campgrounds. Next, you have a lot of fun on the SUP. Stand-up paddleboard, that's the SUP. Next.
Yoga.
Warrior pose. Next. Dogs. Dogs are great on this stretch river. They do allow dogs on this stretch, so it's pretty fun. It's our friend Max. Don't get this campsite. Write that down. Do not get Me 2 or Me 3. They're horrible. They're just in the middle of this flat.
There's just no shade, that's all.
You will bake. It's terrible. There's way better campsites. So that's Me 2. It looks sort of nice there, but that's just because I got a document picture. Next. This is the one you want, Me Corner. Yeah, right, Me Corner. Amazing campsite. So you get this nice flat spot behind you. I don't know if I have it or not. There's this huge cottonwood grove that you can put all your stuff in. Tons of shade. It's beautiful. Definitely get Me Corner. Next one. Oh, super raft tricks. That's actually on the Colorado right out of Glenwood. Next. Oh, more stupid raft tricks. Next one. This is Black Rocks 6, I think. That's another good. So most of the sites in Black Rocks are really good along this section. It's got all these pretty rocks. The train comes by, Twila waves at them. They love her. This is another Black Rock site. 9. That was the last one we're at. You see how loaded up we get these boats. I mean, it's totally loaded. We take everything you want. We take a ton of stuff. No big deal. Go ahead. Then we made a trip to Salmon River and Snake River in Idaho. So we got there to go to put in, and the normal put in campground was just packed, just nasty. And the people there was like, oh, you should go try this other campground. So we go try this other campground, and it was just built. I mean, like a week ago. And we were the only ones there. So we had this whole brand new campground. It was beautiful. There was a little launch here. We had to go like 5 miles up the river, so that had 5 miles on the trip. We didn't care, so it was really nice. And we had, I mean, that was like, this is going to be a really good trip. We already started out with a great campsite. The next one. Now this is Twila styling me up on and then the good thing about the Idaho rivers is they're all like white sand beaches. They're really beautiful. The water's super clear. There's a ton of water. When we did this trip on the Salmon River, there was more water on the Salmon River than all of Colorado combined. It was so dry that year in Colorado. I was like running 20,000 CFS. It was amazing. And you got to really watch about that boat for hydraulics. Now instead of just the water going downriver, it's bouncing off the sides and then they come bouncing in on you. So if you're on big boats, it's not too big a deal, but if you're on little boats, you got to worry about that. So we came around the corner and saw this group jumping off this big, huge log off the corner. So of course, Twila said, I got to try that. Jack's up there, I got to try that. So there's Twila jumping in. Then you can fly kites. Just make sure you don't knock people off while you're flying a kite. Cool.
That was Ben. That was Ben's
Oh,
kite.
Ben, yeah, don't kill anybody, Ben. That's right, you haven't happened like that. Play board games. I forgot what game we were playing there.
Farkle.
Farkle. Here's another site. This is one of the smaller sites. We're sort of crammed on the small little site there. But it's just beautiful up there. The water's big.
No more headstands.
More headstands.
Oh, that's
There
a
were
ducky.
fish.
That's Arkansas right there. I think.
Arkansas, oh, we skipped ahead. The one thing on the Salmon River, there are humongous fish. What kind of fish are they?
Sturgeon.
Sturgeon. They're like 10 feet long. And they like, I was like, it's Loch Ness Monster. They would like come out right in front of me. Like, oh my gosh, that's the biggest fish I've ever seen. They're like, you see them like 3 or 4 of them. They're pretty cool. So the next year, we jump ahead. So okay, so I did a lot of really big, cool raft trips and stuff like that. Because you don't have to have a big raft. You can go up here on the Arkansas River and get a small ducky inflatable kayak, we call them. And so we do these trips usually in the fall when the water's really low and it's not super dangerous. And it's been a bad year on the Arkansas. Obviously, a lot of people died this year. But we wait for the water to get down a little lower and do an overnight ducky trip. And hopefully you don't do what happened with Amaya right there.
She got perched.
She was perched there for a little while.
She was very calm, though. She was very
But
calm.
what we'll do here is there's a campground in the middle, sort of near
Valley Bridge.
called Valley Bridge. And we'll drive up the slide. We'll set up our camp at Valley Bridge, drive up the slide, I put in, stop at Valley Bridge for the night, and we go down a little farther.
Lone Pine.
Dakota Pack, so you're Lone Pine. And then just do a nice overnight trip, so it's sort of fun that way. And you don't have to carry all your stuff.
Oh.
So it's a fun little group. It's really easy. You know, it's not hard at all. Nobody's gonna die. There's a few hard spots, obviously, but nothing that's too bad. Hang on there, KK. Don't make it. Next.
There's Dan and Gail.
So it's just a really fun, easy way to do it. Anybody can do that. So on this, the first time I run this trip, I didn't have a ducky yet, so I just rented one. There's several and slide it over to duckies for a day or two. So do that. Campground's easy. There's Twilight. You guys have too much.
My camp glasses.
Yeah. Just beautiful.
Do you not like those glasses?
I love those glasses.
Okay, so one thing, okay, go back. So, see our tent there? How many people do you think can fit in that orange tent? 8. Okay, so I'm going to tell you tent math. If the manufacturer tells you it fits 4, to 3 max. Subtract 1 at least.
I'd say half it. Half
That's a
it.
little camping tidbit I'm throwing your way. If Pete Youngworth tells you to sit 5 in there, subtract 2. You go to Geronimo. He's just trying to sell the tent. He'll tell you whatever you want to hear. What's my other tidbit? Oh, sleeping bags. You want a sleeping bag?
Oh,
I cannot
Agnes.
recommend more than enough big Agnes sleeping bags with the slide-in pads. And those things are amazing. So they have the insulation up top, and on the bottom there's no insulation. And you put the pad depending on the type of insulation you want. So if you're a desert camper, you can get no insulation, and it just slides in. Or if you're climbing or camping in the winter, you can get pads with insulation built in to cover how deep, how cold you're going to be. And then Eddie Bauer just one up them this year and has his tent with the pad built into the bottom. So they took the big Agnes design and just kicked it up a notch.
I did not know that.
So that's definitely a system I recommend, having a built-in pad. You can't roll off because the pad is inside your bag.
Only on one side.
On the bottom.
Oh, I know. Yeah, then it's on top of
And
you.
the other thing I like about the big Agnes pads and the bags is they have a certain kind of bags that are sort of wide shoulder. So if you're like me, I sort of roll around in the bag, and it's very big girth. If you're a big person too, with big shoulders, they're not like the tight little mummy bags. They got some room in them. So if you're a desert camper, you don't really need a tight bag because you're not going to be that cold. You're just going to be sort of slide up the night. In the morning, it cools down. You want a little bit of warmth. You'll need to be prepared. I hate that. So, my recommendation. Yes, question?
Are you getting paid for this?
I am not getting paid. This is my shameless plug for me. Just what I learned, what I like. The other thing I recommend.
Sunscreen.
Oh. Other thing I recommend, 2-door tent. Don't skimp and get a 1-door tent. Your tent may pull a precinct, you got a 2-door tent. If you gotta go up in the middle of the night, that way you don't have to crawl over somebody. You have to go somewhere. You get out, one can get out their side, the other one can get out their side. 2-door tents. That's all I got.
You did it! You did it!
One more round of applause. disappointed in all of you. There was very little heckling. We needed him to be heckled, shamed, humiliated, like that. You're in trouble now. But seriously, does anybody have any questions about any of the stories he told? Any specifics?
They were all true.
anything
All
like that?
true.
No? Dang, you're thorough.
Alright, so I recommend up and down, hit the merch tent over here, up and down the merch. Help them out. Where's your bucket?
Forgot the bucket. We don't have any quarters. We're not playing.
Oh, here you go. You want to make donations up and down, support this cause, I love it. You've got to get outside, encourage people to get outside, help them get do the things they do. They do amazing events every week, 2, 3, 4 events a week, encouraging people to get outside. I love these guys and I want you to help support it. So if you want to help donate, throw some tidbits in there.
Thanks. And obviously, even though it's not in our mission, we do help special needs. No, but seriously,
I have my
guys,
problem.
thank you so much for coming out. We try to do this every month. Next month is a guy, Dana Adoretti. We haven't published the date yet because we're still trying to figure out exactly when he can do it. The next month, I think Jess Maris has said she'd be willing to, which will be really interesting. And I encourage any of you or any people you know that want to do this. It's a great kind of campfire storytelling atmosphere. It's all about sharing your adventures, empowering yourself by telling those and then empowering those around you. So please join us in the future. There's some little flyers up here to tell you about some of the events we do. There's some free stickers up there. And, join us at other things. Come out, have some fun, drink some great Bristol beer, and we'll see you next month, hopefully. So thanks, guys.